Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, colleagues, wherever you may be. We're now going to move on to the AfricaRice session. You're very welcome to this Marathon Spotlight event, which continues us on our 13-hour journey around the world. Today, we're joining all of those who are celebrating the International Day of Women and Girls in Science, and we're taking the opportunity to celebrate our own fantastic community of women scientists who, as we've heard throughout the day, are really leading the way in a wide range of research and scientific innovation, including breaking barriers and finding whole new ways, to advance the transformation of food, land and water systems in climate crisis. For those I haven't had the pleasure of meeting before, hello. My name is Fiona Farrell and I lead CGIR's function that works to advance gender equity, diversity and inclusion in our global workplaces, or GDI for short. We're in the GDI function. We're also celebrating because we've just recently celebrated our first birthday. We were launched in late January 2020 and we have a very clear mission. Our mission is to work with leadership and management and staff across CGIR to make sure that our workplaces are truly enabling and inclusive for our over 10,000 people. Our goal is to ensure that diversity in all its dimensions is embraced and that every person in our workforce feels supported to reach their full potential. For us, it's not only the right thing to do, it's the smart thing to do, because we know that diversity can bring the very different perspectives and the innovative approaches that we need to deliver on our critical mission. The work of the GDI function, you may know, is guided by our framework and action plan. If you'd like to learn more about these important documents, or you'd like to visit our knowledge hub, take the training, read the guides, you can learn more about all of these things by going to our GDI webpage, and you can see the details on the screen right now. Among the many initiatives that we have had the honor of supporting in 2020 was the launch of a new employee-led resource group called WIRES, Women in Research and Science. And WIRES aims to bring together all those people from our global community who want to support our incredible women scientists, to provide them with a supportive, safe space to meet and to learn and to grow and to advance. And today's event follows on very closely from the official launch of WIRES on the 21st of January. So today we've been journeying through the day, recognizing the significant contribution of women scientists by showcasing their exciting and innovative work. As we continue the 13-hour journey now, we remind you of a few housekeeping rules. You can see them up on the screen. We remind you that interpretation is available at the bottom of your screen. We invite you to submit your questions and comments via the Q&A box and to reach out to Thomas if you have technical difficulties. We also invite you to join WIRES using the contact details on the right-hand side of the slide there. All that's left for me to do is to once again sincerely thank our SIP colleagues, and it is now my great pleasure to welcome the speakers for our 11th Power Hour today, which is being hosted by AfricaRice. Handing over to you, AfricaRice colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Fiona. I am Etienne Duveillet. I'm the Director of Research of AfricaRice here based in Bouaké in Côte d'Ivoire. And I would like first to introduce quickly the speakers, but talk a bit about AfricaRice, which is a Pan-African center of excellence in rice research, development and capacity building, and it contributes to reducing poverty, achieving food and nutrition security, improving livelihoods of farmers and other rice value chain actors in Africa. AfricaRice is one of the 15 agricultural centers of the CGIAR, and it is also an intergovernmental organization of an association of African member countries. We have 28 countries spread all over Africa, and principally in West Africa, where we have been established since 1971. And this year, actually, AfricaRice is very pleased to celebrate and happy to celebrate the 50 years of its existence. We have four major programs, namely the Genetic Diversity and Improvement Program, the Sustainable Productivity Enhancement Program, a Policy Innovation System and Impact Assessment Program, and a Rice Sector Development Program. AfricaRice work closely with these partners. We interact with them on field-specific task force with national program people representing each country in different areas like breeding, agronomy, mechanization, value addition, policy, and gender. The International Day of Women and Girls in Science that we are celebrating today is a reminder to us to recognize that the contribution of women scientists in research and science in general and in Africa in particular. And we are also very pleased to see the role of our women scientists here in Africa really to transform and make change in the society. Our center indeed is a small center, and maybe for various reasons, there are not many women scientists for various reasons. And we know that the location sometimes where we work is a bit challenging, but we are really putting in place strategies to improve the number of women scientists in AfricaRice with support of our Director of Strategic Business Initiative and Human Resources, working closely with the gender diversity and inclusion function of the CGIAR. We have a training center in Saint Louis in Senegal, where we have a majority of the training programs, and we always make sure that we really have a good balance and make sure that we have women representation in all those trainees, farmers, and groups who are attending our trainings in Saint Louis. It's a prerequisite, actually. We really have a lot of, we pay a lot of attention on the good representation and inclusiveness in AfricaRice. AfricaRice has a lot of linkages with universities in Africa and in other parts of the world. We have quite a bit of young women scientists coming, and we really try to increase, their role and their impact in our research. For the NARS partners, for example, when we are talking about the task force that we have in AfricaRice, we also appreciate that in some NARS countries, the focal point indeed is very often a woman. Which shows very well the important role that effective gender integration has in the dissemination of rice technologies or research for development. And with this introduction, I'd like to introduce the speakers of today. First, we will have Marie-Noëlle Jonjob, the head of the Rice Biodiversity Center for Africa and the Gene Bank Manager. Marie-Noëlle has been with AfricaRice since 1999 and is a molecular biologist. She has taken the big challenge to really moving the gene bank from a former location in Benin to Côte d'Ivoire here. And for example, while she accompanied refrigerated truck with all the rice collection made of 19,000 accession, you know, crossing the borders, making sure that safely all the collection would be going by land from Cotonou to Mbé here in Côte d'Ivoire, crossing several borders. She has published more than 59 articles and book chapters. She has been a driving force behind molecular research, molecular biology research in AfricaRice, and she works tirelessly to build the capacity of young scientists in AfricaRice. I will let her talk about her journey and or adventure with the gene bank in AfricaRice in a few minutes. The second speaker is going to be Maimouna Ndour. She is a sociologist in the Policy, Innovation and Impact Assessment Program based in St. Louis, Senegal, since 2002. And she's working tirelessly also to bring the voice of women in rice research. Maimouna has been working closely with the interface between breeding and people, in which she is really investigating all this quality trait driving the market and preferences from people in the products that we are developing in the genetic program. She is very active in the gender task force of AfricaRice. Esther Pegalepo has been with AfricaRice since 2014. She is one of our recent scientists to graduate with a PhD in phytogenetics resource and crop protection in 2020. She combines studies on the research of plant breeding and coordinates at the same time the breeding task force of AfricaRice with all representatives of national program. Esther is very dynamic, open to integration of gender in her work. She's one of our breeders who have participated in gender responsive research equipped for agricultural transformation. This is the great program that is hosted by Cornell and the Makerere University in Uganda, really making an effort to make sure that gender inclusiveness is always addressed when we are trying to do germplasm improvement and breeding for our clients, the farmers. I'll let the three speakers have their own time with you. I would like again to express that we are very proud the work that has been done by our female scientists in our institution. We believe that it is really important to really have women scientists with us. It is really giving us also different perspective, and we really would like to encourage all the young girls and scientists who would like to work especially in Africa, in research for development. With this, Marie-Noëlle, the floor is to you, and you can perhaps now go to your own presentation.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Etienne. I will first share my screen. Je vais mettre la vidéo. Can you see my screen, please? Can you see my screen, please?
Very well.
Okay, thank you. J'essaie de mettre un slideshow. Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I will spend these 20 minutes with you highlighting the journey I have been doing as a scientist. As a child, I was spending my holiday with my grandmother in the rural area of Cameroon. My grandmother was a renowned farmer who was growing cassava, sweet potato, cocoyam, yam, maize. She was also growing maize and yam and cassava, and she was growing those food crop to feed our family. She was also growing cash crops such as cacao, coffee, to buy our books. She's the first person who taught me about agriculture and how to conserve the seed up to the next cropping season. Then I studied biology at secondary school. Then I passed my A-level exam, and I received a fellowship and traveled to France to study. It is during the training that I had during my MSc that I realized how motivated and how passionate I was about working in a molecular lab. I was working throughout the times, and then I started looking for fellowship for my PhD research. I wrote 200 letters, among which this one sent to the Rockefeller Foundation. Here is the content of the letter. I would like to orientate my research on utilization of molecular biology for application in agronomy, since this field of research is supposed to have a great impact in plant breeding and general knowledge on plant biology. I'm very interested by the research. We deal with the identification of resistant marker to rice yellow mottle virus and aim at the production of transgenic plant which will be more resistant and adapted to African growing conditions. I'm sure that this program will give me the benefit of modern biotechnology and that I will be able to return in my national institute. I was then granted a fellowship for 3 years. Then during the fellowship research, I have a chance to participate to the high-level meeting on genetic and genomic, basically on the plant and animal genome, which is held annually in San Diego in California. And during this meeting, I had also the opportunity to present my first poster. Then I returned to Africa in 1999 as a postdoc at AfricaRice to study RMV and a well-known disease in the farmer field in Africa. And in this picture provides an illustration of the molecular team at AfricaRice in 1999. So when I arrived at AfricaRice, the head of the molecular lab and the assistant, they left because they have taken other positions elsewhere. So I start leading the team. I start working on the genetic profiling of the Nerica, the new rice for Africa, conducting RMV research, and initiate also the use of the molecular tools in the breeding program at AfricaRice. I devoted a lot of my time training young women in molecular research. I also did the training as the head of the biotechnology unit. I also did the training of the young women, as you can see on these pictures. Then in 2004, I became a head of Gene Bank, head of genetic resources unit. It's an interesting position. As you know, the genetic resources is the foundation for the food security. The diversity in the genetic resources is key to tackling the environmental changes and also solve the socio-economic problem that we can face in Africa. So the Gene Bank at AfricaRice hold 22,000 rice accessions. Those accessions are conserved and they are preserved, they are also maintained. We use routine operation to maintain the accession. We secure also those accessions in Svalbard and Fort Collins. And we acquire new germplasm or we disseminate the germplasm to user under the International Treaty for Plant Genetic Resources for Food and Agriculture. We work in close collaboration also with Seed Herd Unit at AfricaRice to ensure that the seeds which are acquired or distributed are safe. Then in 2020, the Rice Biodiversity Center for Africa was launched. With the gene bank is actually one of the components of the Rice Biodiversity Center. And we have in the Rice Biodiversity Center, we have routine activities for acquisition, related to acquisition, distribution, conservation, safety duplication of the rice germplasm. We also make sure that we have the quality management system in place. We distribute germplasm to our user. And the gene bank is evaluated every year because there are those activities form actually the indicator to evaluate the performance of the gene bank. As in the Rice Biodiversity Center for Africa, we also do routine research to promote the use of the rice collections. We also we value the genetic resources that we are conserving. We also develop the research to accelerate the genetic gain. We sensitize also scientists or users on the value of cultivated rice of wild species, which are weed, and they could so avoid that if they found it in the natural habitat, they don't destroy those wild species. So the Rice Biodiversity Center for AfricaRice was launched in January 2020. What are the greatest achievements done so far? So one of the projects which I led was on marker-assisted selection. We focus on the rice yellow mottled virus. Like I told you before, this virus is responsible for a disease which can destroy completely the farmer field, and the farmer will be able to harvest the seed when the disease occurs. Therefore, because the gene was identified, we developed this project, marker-assisted selection project, with the goal, with two main objectives: to introgress this gene into elite line susceptible to the virus in the country where the rice is consumed and produced, and also to train our NAS partner and build a capacity in the use of the molecular techniques. So the project was funded by USAID, and 4 countries were involved: Mali, Burkina Faso, Guinea, and the Gambia. So to build the capacity at NAS Institute, we acquire equipment and we install them in the 4 countries involved in the project. As you can see in this picture, these are the lab that we opened in Guinea, and also the training that we conducted in Guinea. We install also the molecular laboratory in the Burkina Faso. We also conducted training of NAS researchers in Burkina Faso. Local media witnessed the event in Burkina Faso. In the Gambia, we installed the molecular lab, and we also trained the NAS researcher in the use of molecular techniques in the breeding program. We conducted short-term training and long-term training on molecular techniques, as I was able to establish the genetic and genomic platform for rice in Africa at AfricaRice in Cotonou. And it was a mean to welcome the NAS, to let them train in the use of molecular techniques, More training sessions also were done over the years, and more scientists in Africa were trained. This slide is just to show the improved varieties that we were able to develop through this project. And these improved varieties and resistant to R1V are now deployed in West Africa. I embrace the work on drought tolerance. Drought is one of the major constraints on rice production. Drought occurs in ecology where rice are grown in Africa. So the project was funded by the Rockefeller Foundation and involved AfricaRice and NAS country IER. We also were funded to work on the drought tolerant project, but using an innovative approach named marker-assisted recurrent selection. The project was funded by EU through the Generation Challenge program. And 4 NAS countries were involved: IER in Mali, NCRI in Nigeria, and INERA in Burkina Faso. We also have CGR Center, SIAT, IRI, and the Advanced Research Institute such as IRD and CIRAT was member of the project. The project was launched, and we were able to develop through this project also improve lines which are drought tolerant. Then I started the genetic resources activities, like I told you, in 2014. The genetic resources gene bank holds 22,000 accessions. They are conserved, they are preserved, they are maintained for present and future generation. The collection has been maintained through routine activities, such as viability tests to ensure that the accessions which are conserved are viable and from good quality. The collections are also secure in Svalbard and Fort Collins in 2 locations. And we are also distributing the collection. We are also, all this information I'm talking about are recorded in the database called Green Global, or also they are also available on Genesis. So the gene bank was based in, located in Cotonou, didn't meet the FAO standard. So with the support of the CGR platform, the Crop Trust, the African Development Bank, and AfricaRice member country, we were able to build a new gene bank for rice collection in Bay. When the new gene bank, the construction of the new gene bank was completed, then we transferred 38 tons of seed from Cotonou to Mbe using 3 refrigerated trucks, and 3 long days was needed to transfer those seeds. Then later on, the base collection was hosted at RTA Ibadan in Nigeria and was transferred from RTA from Nigeria to Côte d'Ivoire by air, and from Côte d'Ivoire in Abidjan to Mbe by road. When we received all these, the seed at Mbe, they were dry, packed, we changed the container, and we store the seed in the new storage, the medium-term storage and the long-term storage. Now the gene bank is fully operational and meet the international standard set by FAO. Almost on the weekly basis, we host visitors. We discuss with the visitor, we respond to the question they raise regarding the diversity of the rice we conserve, the collection, how we acquire the material, the conservation, the regeneration of the material in the field, and the activities that we implement to maintain the collection. So the maintenance of the collection on the daily basis is very heavy and need dedicated staff, well-trained staff to follow the standard operational procedure that we were able to develop for each gene bank operation. So the visitors are coming often to discuss and see what we are doing and how we are managing the collections. I also led the research activities in the gene bank to promote the use of the collection. The research helped us to develop the subset of African rice, which is the cultivated rice originated from Africa. Africa is the only continent where two rice have been cultivated. So the mini core collection of African rice species is now available for geneticists, breeders. They can use this mini core in their breeding program for trade donor identification, for gene discovery, to breed and solve the problem that the farmers are facing in their farm. Throughout this year, I also mobilized a fund. The fundraising is a key in the research activity to sustain the research activities. So I started raising funds beginning from my PhD research. And I raised funds for various projects at AfricaRice. I conducted at AfricaRice. I also published in the 49 scientific papers in international peer-reviewed journals and 7 book chapters. I represented AfricaRice in many scientific meetings over the years, and I was acting either as facilitator or delivering a presentation or lectures. This effort have conducted AfricaRice was recognized actually by by the center, and in 2005 and 2012, I received 2 awards, the Service Award, the Director General Service Award, and the 2012, I received the Bob Kasky Award. Bob Kasky is a scientist, very famous scientist. He was working with AfricaRice, and during the civil unrest in Côte d'Ivoire, he passed away. Then the center is honor him, all the work that he have done every year through this award. So I received Bob Kasky Award in 2012. As a female scientist in the field of dominated band, I think I received excellent training and I had strong experience. I've demonstrated competence in research, leadership, management, and I've mobilized resources, all the while being an excellent mother to my son. I continue today to mentor and train young women scientists and instill in them the idea that women are equally capable of making important contribution in science and agriculture. I was able to make the balance in my career between my activities and also raising my son on my own. So, but as the life of a researcher is not a long and quiet river, I had some roadblock in my career during the civil unrest in Côte d'Ivoire in 2002 and 2004. What are the lessons learned? As a scientist, a career in science requires devotion and patience. A career in science also is very time-consuming. As I explained before, it's important to have collaborators. It's critical to have collaborators. It's important to communicate the research results broadly to scientists and non-scientists. And for fundraising, it's important to be proactive and confident. As a leader and manager, I think staff management and supervision should be taught in university curricula, regardless of the discipline one follows. Following is important also to follow staff and partner through mentoring and coaching. This can drastically improve the execution of project activities. I would like really to acknowledge the people who mentored me and supported me and people who did the work of the project I presented. And one of the first supporters, like I say, is my grandmother. She's the one who taught me about agriculture. Also, my second mentor was Dr. Hervé Santena from INRA in Montpellier, who taught me a lot about molecular biology. Then I was able to work with Dr. Mathias Lorieux and Alain Guesquier. They taught me a lot on rice genetics. Dr. Monty Jones on the breeding, rice breeding. And during my postdoc research, I had a chance to meet with Dr. Suzanne Makouche and in her lab, and we work very closely in her lab. So before I end this presentation, I would like to say that, based on the complexity of the scientific research, it may be understandable that women are in minority in science. However, I think that it is feasible for women, despite the major role they play in the family. Thank you for your attention.
Yeah, thank you very much, Marie-Noël. I describe Marie-Noël as the Rice Wonder Woman. Her work is very inspiring. I would like to invite the other speakers, starting with Maimouna Ndour. Maimouna, the floor is yours. Maimouna is in Senegal.
Oui. Bonjour. Bonjour à tout le monde. Je m'appelle... Mais vous m'entendez?
Very well, très bien.
Voilà. Je m'appelle Maimouna Ndour. Je suis sociologue de formation et je suis basée à la station régionale de AfricaRice à Saint-Louis, dans le nord du Sénégal. J'aimerais commencer par remercier les organisateurs de cet événement qui nous ont permis durant toute la journée d'échanger sur nos parcours en tant que femmes dans la recherche, mais aussi de parler de manière ramassée de nos activités de recherche et de nos résultats. J'aimerais commencer mon parcours à partir de l'université, où, comme je l'ai dit, j'ai fait des études de sociologie. Et en troisième année, il fallait se spécialiser, choisir une spécialisation. J'ai choisi la sociologie du développement. Et une amie à moi est venue me voir pour me dire « Non, c'est une erreur, parce que dans cette spécialisation, depuis 2 ans, il n'y a pas de femmes. parce que c'est trop dur, c'est le monde rural, c'est pour les hommes. Et je lui ai dit non, moi j'ai fait mon choix, c'est ça que je veux faire. Et ça a été un premier challenge pour moi. Quand je me retrouvais autour de tous ces étudiants, ces garçons où j'étais la seule fille, je me devais de ne pas faire moins qu'eux. Alors, ce challenge m'a accompagnée durant tout mon cursus jusqu'à ce que je me sépare de ces camarades. Et quand je suis arrivée à AfricaRice, j'ai fait face à ce même challenge aussi. J'ai intégré un groupe de recherche composé d'hommes. Hein, j'étais la seule femme dans le groupe des chercheurs assistants ici à AfricaRice, Saint-Louis. Il y a des femmes qui étaient avant moi, mais quand je suis arrivée, j'étais la seule. C'est le même challenge encore que j'ai dû relever, être parmi des hommes et en plus avoir une spécialisation qui n'est pas très proche des leurs. J'ai intégré une équipe de socio-économistes, d'agroéconomistes, d'agronomes, de machinistes, de breeders. Alors, il fallait marquer son empreinte, apporter sa touche personnelle. Et heureusement que j'ai intégré un groupe très ouvert à l'interdisciplinarité. Hein, ils m'ont prêté une oreille attentive, ils m'ont donné l'occasion d'apporter une touche professionnelle parce que je travaillais plus sur les aspects qualitatifs pour venir compléter les aspects quantitatifs sur lesquels ils travaillaient avec les enquêtes par questionnaire. Alors, ils m'ont permis d'apporter cette touche professionnelle dans 4 domaines principalement, à savoir la caractérisation socio-économique de l'environnement de production du riz, à savoir aussi l'accès correct et équilibré aux technologies proposées par la recherche en général et par AfricaRice. Aussi, je apporté ma touche par rapport à une plus grande considération des utilisateurs finaux, à savoir les femmes qui manipulent le riz en le cuisinant, en le consommant, mais les consommateurs en général. Parce que pendant longtemps, on a beaucoup misé sur l'augmentation des rendements, sur la résistance aux maladies, etc., qui fait que l'utilisateur final, le consommateur ou bien le marché final n'était pas encore une priorité. Alors, nous avons aussi eu à travailler sur ces aspects-là et sur plus d'une dizaine de pays en Afrique. Et ça nous a valu des résultats intéressants que nous avons eu toujours à remonter vers les partenaires. Je vais y revenir plus amplement. Le dernier aspect, c'est le renforcement de capacité des femmes dans le milieu de la production risicole. Alors, pour le premier aspect, la caractérisation socio-économique, c'est toujours se dire la production du riz, c'est pas seulement le champ, c'est pas seulement les variétés, c'est pas les engrais, mais il y a l'univers socioculturel dans lequel ce riz est produit. C'est des producteurs et des productrices qui transfèrent au champ leur réalité socioculturelle qu'ils vivent tous les jours. Ce qui nous a amené, par exemple, dans certaines contrées en Afrique, de voir que traditionnellement, certaines écologies sont réservées aux femmes, comme les bas-fonds, et les plateaux sont réservés aux hommes. Donc, comme vous pouvez le voir sur la diapo en haut, le challenge, c'était toujours d'aller au niveau du producteur dans son univers socioculturel pour essayer d'échanger avec lui par rapport à ses besoins, par rapport à ses priorités, par rapport à ses contraintes et en faisant la séparation entre les hommes et les femmes. Donc, à ce niveau, nous avons eu à travailler, collaborer étroitement avec les breeders, par exemple, qui nous ont permis d'avoir des semences adaptées à l'environnement spécifique de production des femmes, comme vous pouvez le voir sur la diapo qui est à droite en bas. Ces femmes sont au Sénégal, dans le centre-est. Elles produisent dans des bas-fonds qui sont beaucoup salins, qui ont beaucoup de toxicité féroce, de sécheresse parce que nous sommes en pluvial. Et avec les breeders de la station, nous avons sélectionné un certain nombre de variétés que nous sommes allés tester avec elles et qu'elles ont sélectionnées après pour les meilleures pour en faire de la production de semences pour avoir accès à ces technologies-là autant que les hommes. Donc, toujours dans la même lancée aussi, nous avons eu à travailler avec les femmes sur les aspects de compétitivité, parce qu'à partir de 2008, avec la crise du riz, les privés sont venus s'implanter beaucoup dans la vallée, alors que les femmes avaient cette activité traditionnelle de vente de riz blanc. Alors, il fallait veiller à ce qu'elles ne perdent pas cette part de marché. Et nous les avons formées, encadrées, accompagnées pour avoir un produit de qualité avec le label qu'il faut, le branding qu'il faut, avec toute la qualité autour et le marketing qu'il faut pour préserver leur part de marché. Et comme vous pouvez le voir avec la photo avec les sacs, elles ont pu se maintenir sur ce marché-là et vraiment sécuriser cette activité. Le temps n'est pas long, mais je finirai juste par dire que ces petits résultats que nous avons au sein de la recherche nous confortent dans notre décision d'avoir embrassé la recherche et d'y rester jusqu'à présent en espérant inspirer les jeunes filles pour la relève. Je vous remercie.
Oui, merci beaucoup, Maïmouna. La personne suivante, c'est Esther. Tu peux nous partager ton parcours, Esther. Merci.
Je voudrais dire un sincère merci à tous les organisateurs. Je m'appelle Dr Esther Pegalifou. Pour mon parcours scolaire, j'ai fait le master en industrie de semences, option technologie de semences, donc en 2006. Après avoir obtenu ce diplôme, c'est en 2008 que j'intègre la recherche avec AfricaRice de World Vegetable Center au Cameroun, où je suis recrutée comme spécialiste en multiplication de semences. Et au cours de ce parcours qui a duré de 2008 à 2011, j'étais le point focal de la distribution des semences en Afrique centrale, des semences de AfricaRice aux partenaires de l'Afrique centrale. Après le parcours avec AfricaRice, je vais en Centrafrique où je suis chef de projet en production maraîchère, où je dois former des paysans en nouvelles techniques de production maraîchère. C'est après la Centrafrique que je joins AfricaRice en 2014. Et pour vous dire vrai, je ne connaissais absolument rien sur le riz lorsque je rejoins AfricaRice en 2014. Avec le secours de professeur Siemoussa, il me forme dans la production, dans la sélection du riz, depuis les croisements jusqu'à la fixation des variétés. En plus de cette charge qui m'a été donnée, je l'assistais dans la coordination des activités de sélection du riz dans les pays membres d'AfricaRice. Et nous étions chargés avec la collaboration du GRU, qui est le Genetic Resource Unit, de distribuer les semences aux pays pour leur évaluation selon les écologies. J'ai été relocalisée à Mbé en 2017, où je ne suis plus trop impliquée dans la sélection. Je veux dire des croisements, mais beaucoup plus dans la sélection au niveau des champs. Donc, je reste encore le point focal au niveau d'AfricaRice pour la coordination des activités de Breeding Task Force dans les pays membres d'AfricaRice, où il faut collecter les semences dans les pays ou bien distribuer les semences à partir d'AfricaRice. Et avec certains de mes collaborateurs hommes, nous descendons souvent dans les champs, comme vous pouvez le voir au niveau de la diapo, pour la sélection en milieu, dans le champ d'AfricaRice, avant de les distribuer au niveau des des instituts nationaux, nous nous rassurons de la fixation de ces variétés et de leur potentiel en rendement et en qualité phytopathologique. En 2019, en novembre 2019, j'ai participé à la formation organisée par GRET en Ouganda. C'était vraiment une expérience très enrichissante pour moi parce que depuis que j'ai joint AfricaRice, on faisait du breeding pour du breeding. Bon, pour moi, c'était du breeding pour du breeding. Mais lorsque je suis arrivée à la formation en Ouganda, j'ai compris qu'on ne doit plus faire le breeding pour le breeding, mais faire du breeding sur la base du product profile que les différents pays ont à leur niveau. Parce que si on crée une variété qui ne peut pas être utilisée par les utilisateurs finaux, tout le travail qu'on a fait tout le long de la chaîne sera vain. Donc, je dis un très grand merci à AfricaRice parce que c'est vraiment une très grande expérience que j'ai gagnée au niveau de la formation de GRET et au niveau aussi de tout mon parcours avec AfricaRice. Sur ce, je vous remercie.
Oui, merci Esther. Je comprends qu'il y a eu un problème de la traduction en anglais, mais que c'est résolu. Je suis désolée. Dans les quelques minutes qui nous restent, je voudrais que Maïmouna, il y a une question dans le Q&A qui t'est adressée. Comme je vois que c'est la seule question, tu peux répondre ici directement. Quelle est la stratégie pour assurer la collaboration avec les hommes? Comment est-ce que tu as fait, Maïmouna?
Oui, merci Godios. Bon, je pense que la meilleure stratégie, c'est toujours de se comporter en professionnel d'abord. Pour que eux-mêmes, ils ne soient pas très focus sur le fait qu'il y a une femme dans l'équipe ou non. C'est de chercher à créer une équipe de collaborateurs, une équipe de collègues. Se retrouver toujours autour des questions essentielles et professionnelles. Ça, je pense que ça a été déterminant dans mon intégration dans cette équipe d'hommes que je voudrais saluer, saisir l'occasion de saluer aujourd'hui.
Ok, merci beaucoup. Je voudrais partager avec mes chers collègues. Let me go back to English. Sorry. I would like to share my colleagues that we are a few in AfricaRice, but then we are greatly supported. So unknown to you, to the three presenters, the management and the colleagues have shared some messages of encouragement to you. I will not be able to read everything, but then I just want to tell you that you are being celebrated. And then I can join a bit and also say that we are celebrated as two. Marie-Noël, you are being celebrated for your brilliant research career, for your contribution to the rice science in Africa, for the many projects you are bringing on. Esther, your work with the task force, working with 30 countries is not an easy task, but then you are showing that as a woman, you can do the job. Maimuna, your work, your excellent work is greatly appreciated. You are recognized. You are recognized as the face of branding and good package of local rice in Africa. So you are really an inspiration to all of us. And not just to us, but also to the many young scientists, many young girls that are out looking for a career path in the rice science. So thank you for being who you are. The text is too much to read, but then I will share with you this afterwards. I hope no one is crying here. Let me read this one. You are my big science sister, someone said. So someone is very proud to be stepping in your shoes. The last message I want to share is that we are told that women can hold half the sky. So you are doing that. Women are as strong and capable as men. They can do everything. And then it is really showing that you are playing very important roles as men do. So these messages are to encourage you and to encourage all the women who are following this session that we are able. I want you to take a minute each and then pass your message to the early career scientists and the aspiring and the future scientists. What is the message you are giving to them? What is your final word of encouragement to those who are really trying their best to step in your shoes, or those who will do it in the future? Over to you, Marie Noel, Maimuna, Esther. You can take each a minute.
So, okay. Viens m'aider.
Allô?
Tanta Marie Noel.
Yes, I'm trying to unmute and
yeah, we can hear you. Maybe as Marie Noel is sorting out, Maimuna, can you share your message, please?
Oui, avec plaisir, Godiose. Mon mot envers les étudiantes que nous recevons ici à AfricaRice, c'est toujours de leur dire qu'il faut être persévérante. Parce que quoi qu'on puisse dire, c'est un métier qui n'est pas facile. Ça vous fait rater beaucoup de rendez-vous familiaux, ça vous fait perdre certains amis parce qu'ils ne comprennent pas que vous soyez tout le temps occupé par votre travail. Alors, je leur dis, accrochez-vous et trouvez-vous des femmes qui vous inspirent. Nous avons toutes été inspirées quand on commençait, par exemple, par Dr Marie-Noël, par Dr Rita Agbonawemechi. Elles ont été des femmes qui nous ont inspirées et on demande toujours aux étudiantes de trouver des femmes qui les inspirent pour qu'elles puissent rester dans ce milieu. Merci.
Merci Maïmouna. Chère inspiration, tenir bon. Oui, Marie-Noël, tu as pu te activer le son, s'il te plaît.
S'il te plaît, tu peux parler un petit peu fort. On ne t'entend pas bien. Je ne t'entends pas bien.
Marie-Noël, we are waiting for your message.
Okay. Thank you, Glorious, for the floor. So the encouraging message, I mentioned it in my presentation. I think that although the science is complex, it's time consuming, it's require devotion, passion. I think those characters, the woman have those characters. And I think even if there are difficulties in science, it's feasible. It's feasible for women to embrace the scientific career. It need passion. It need to take time to devote the time for science, and the women have those characteristics, and I just tell them to encourage them to study science, to study genetic resources, which is very important for our food security and also for preserving just the fighting against climate change.
Thank you, Marie-Noël. Esther, a last message, please, to the young ones.
Oui, je voudrais dire qu'il faudrait être passionné par la recherche et regarder autour pour voir des mentors. Le mien a été Dr Marie-Noël. Elle m'a beaucoup soutenue pendant ma thèse. D'abord, quand j'arrive, j'ai voulu toujours faire la thèse et toujours aller de l'avant au-delà des études. La thèse, j'ai cherché des subventions, des scholarships fatigués, je n'ai pas trouvé et j'étais obligée de la subventionner moi-même pour pouvoir avoir mon doctorat. Donc, être passionné, aller de l'avant, être dynamique, chercher par tous les moyens légaux surtout, pour pouvoir atteindre ces objectifs. Elles trouveront toujours des personnes qui pourront les aider sur leur chemin. Merci.
Oui, merci beaucoup. On that note of staying passionate and looking for membership and not giving up, I would like to close the AfricaRice session, thanking the GDI, Fiona, the WIRES community, especially the committee that has organized this marathon. I thank the communication and the translation team. And I also thank AfricaRice management and all our colleagues who have supported us in preparing this event. So thank you so much, the participants who have been with us. We hope that this is an ongoing journey of building our passion and also continuing to inspire the younger ones. Thank you so much. Over to you, Fiona.
Thank you so much, Godios. Thank you very much to Marie-Noël, to Maimouna, to Esther, to Etienne, and to yourself and Savitri and all of the other people at AfricaRice who made this a really enjoyable and enlightening session. Thank you so much to Marie-Noël for sharing her achievements and her insights, as well as her journey, from girlhood experiences with her grandmother through to her persistence on the hunt for a fellowship and all the steps that have taken her career to where it is today. It was really inspiring to hear how she's coped with the challenges she's faced and the lessons she's learned along the way. Merci beaucoup to Maimouna and Esther, who explained very clearly the importance of sharing and solidarity, especially in a time of COVID, as well as the value of training, and the importance of professional relationships with colleagues, both women and men. And it was lovely to see your colleagues celebrating you in that final slide. It's lovely to see us lifting each other up. We all need that every now and again. Also nice to hear that the important themes that started many hours ago of mentorship and supportive sponsors and finding ways to maintain your passion are clearly coming through in every single session. We have been supported by translators, by interpreters, Helene and Isabel. Thank you so much for their help with that. I wish we had more time, but we've run over, so we will have to say goodbye to our AfricaRice colleagues. We encourage you to stay on for the other sessions. Please, colleagues online, please feel free to reach out to our AfricaRice colleagues to ask all those questions that we didn't get time to cover in today's session, and to continue the conversations, not just for today, but for the rest of the year.